It all comes down to this. After a titanic season-long fight between Brandon Proudfoot and William Hargraves, the two contenders find themselves tied on points going into tonight's penultimate round. Will Proudfoot be able to keep the crown he has held for so many seasons, or will he be forced to pass it off to the ever-quick, often a bridesmaid's runner in the form of Hargraves? Well, we won't have long to wait to find out as we welcome everyone to the penultimate round of Season 11 for the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series, and we are here tonight at the virtual Limaland Speedway. My name is DJ Clark, and on behalf of the Virtual Grip Network, my partner here in the booth, John Hine, our director, Mike Yao, as well as everyone behind the scenes at VGN, we would like to thank you for joining us here tonight. Now, John, Limaland is a track that is pretty well known here by the iRacing community, but what can you tell us about this circuit that's going to make things interesting for us?
Yeah, this is a fun circuit. It's a little quarter mile right here in Ohio, and, a little bit further southwest of here, about 90 miles or 90-minute drive southwest of here, is that legendary track Eldora. So a couple good tracks for the people in this area of the country can go and watch racing on any given week. But this track, though, DJ, is so much fun. You can race high, you can race low, you can race through the middle. These drivers are going to have options tonight, and when you're a driver, you've got options of places to make passes. Man, that just equals a lot of fun and a lot of good watching for the rest of us.
Indeed, and it's going to be a fantastic race to watch out there. Drivers are out on track right now for practice. We mentioned to you those championship standings. Let's run you through them right now. There you can see Proudfoot and Hargraves tied with 707 points at the top of the charts. Billy Northcutt about 25-30 points back of them, so he is still not mathematically eliminated, provided that Hargraves and Proudfoot have a very rough running. From there on back, it gets a little bit more separated. Bobby Hayes, Jason Best, J.R. Shepard, Steven Spees. You can see it really start to tail off as the rest of the field goes their way through. But with points being scored in all of the sessions here today, from qualifying to the heat races to the consolation races, it certainly could be a thing that we see some shuffling around in the order. And right now, well, really to the surprise of nobody, Brandon Proudfoot up at the top of the charts right now. Hargraves only back in 8th place. But as we've talked about, John, that's not necessarily a sign for warning in these practice sessions.
No, it's not. Just like you see at your real racetrack, more cars get on the track, all of a sudden you see that heavy tack, right after the water trucks get out. It starts to come in, get a little more racy. Well, it's the same thing here in iRacing. Guys that were in the server early are probably going to be a little bit of advantage. They're going to have a little more tack that can get around here. Somebody that just came into the server, I think the last one to enter is Steven Spees. So he's going to be a little bit further down the list because he didn't take advantage of those optimal track conditions. But we see it every week, DJ. It changes as soon as we line them up and go qualify.
Yes, indeed it does. And as for qualifying, the format for qualifying is going to be 5 minutes or 4 laps, however you decide to put that down. And we've seen a disparity in how the drivers like to do that. We've seen some drivers like to come out, put those 4 laps down as quickly as possible, absolutely rail them through. We've seen some other drivers that like to maybe come out, put 1 or 2 laps down, and then wait a little bit to see how the track develops to go put those down. So that full 5-minute session really going to keep us guessing, I have a sneaking suspicion.
Yeah, absolutely. And from what I can tell, there's no right strategy or wrong strategy. It's driver preference. And, we've seen it work any one of the ways that they choose to do it, which will be a little bit different from later on tonight when we do the USAC. Fire it up. You got 4 laps and it's an average. So you can't mess around. You got to run all 4 and get that average in.
Indeed you do, as we watch here John Wilson, the Fistful of Water 613 Designs machine, working on that high side around here. And John, you said multiple grooves to run around here, even in these street stocks. We can see them go high, we can see them go low, really up to driver preference.
Yeah, it really is. And there's times where the top is more dominant than the bottom, and then the bottom will come in, and then maybe the middle or the top. So, the quick line moves around as the race goes on, and it's fun to chase that as a driver. But here in practice, you see a couple guys trying to run the low and run the medium or middle. I would always be up top just trying to get my timing down, because the one risk you have, the other, like the low line and the middle line, you can move a little bit, but if you're right up on that high line, guess what, that wall is right there, and that can wreak havoc for your car and for your plans for the evening. So I prefer to try to get my timing down here early.
Yeah, exactly. And that timing is going to be everything. I think we will be seeing a couple of slide jobs, maybe some aggressive moves as we get into racing. But right now, as we ride on board with John Wilson, he's taking a little bit of your advice, working on that high line, as is our reigning champion, Brandon Proudfoot, in that distinctive black and red number 22 machine. He's trying out that high side a little bit, not letting the rear end of the car slide out too much, just doing a good job to kind of keep everything together. He and Hunter Hill right now seem to be trading fastest laps of the race, so maybe the 12 a little bit of a dark horse to watch out for today.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on him, and like I said, once we start qualifying, the cream rises to the top here. And Hunter, he's had speed at various times this season, so this could be just a track he really likes, knows how to get around, and maybe he'll pull a rabbit out of a hat tonight and surprise everybody.
Yeah, we will have to see as they go. Pushing along there, riding the wall is Brandon Proudfoot, doing a great job to be able to do that. Hunter Hill, Chris Hill, Billy Northcutt, William Hargraves, your top 5 right now as we tick down with about 3 minutes to go here in this practice session. The format for today, by the way, it is standard dirt racing format. We'll have that qualifying session, then we'll have a series of heat races. The top 2 will automatically advance into the A main. Not sure on the car count here if we are going to have a B or C main or not. That is still TBD, but then that will all be setting us up for a 40-lap feature race that'll be preceded by a 5-minute warm-up for drivers to be able to get out, get a good feel for the car, and get everything under them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and with a lower car count, that means they're going to have a lot more tack to play with in the feature, too. So, when you got bigger car count compared to lower one, you've got to pay attention to how many guys sign up just for the fact that's going to wear the track in different. So when you make your plan on, like, maybe where you're going to run or practice, you need to that's one of the things, just like weather, you've got to take into consideration.
Yes, it very much is. You've got to constantly be feeling out the rhythm of this track, feeling out where that slick stuff is, as you said, really knowing where it is, knowing how to drive it around as we watch Bobby Hayes, the Fistful of Water, number 13, working his way around, trying on that middle line, let's call it, just experimenting here a little bit. Hayes currently running in 9th place position right now. It continues to be Proudfoot up at the top of the charts with Hunter Hill behind him. Bobby Hayes now working his way up to the high line, trying to clear by Joe Segala and John Wilson.
Yeah, there's a lot of action here. Just even watching him in practice, watching him move around, I think that's just going to be, a sign of things to come, and it's going to be exciting tonight.
Yeah, going to be very exciting indeed to see how everything plays out. I anticipate a lot of 2, maybe even 3 wide racing around this tight little bull ring in the University in Northern Ohio around here. Obviously, a very, very close collaboration with the University of Northern Ohio that they run with. And there you see that high line starting to play itself out a little bit as Hayes has got some momentum here on Joe Segala. Segala doesn't cover him off there, feels a little bit more comfortable running that middle line, ticking down about 50 seconds to go.
Yeah, neat thing is the university actually fields cars out here in the various divisions. I've gone out here and raced before, and you've got a group of college kids. Can you imagine, DJ, going to college? I'm going to take this class so I can drive a race car. I mean, how cool is that?
I wish they offered that at my alma mater of Belmont. I'll tell you that right now. I would have jumped all over that.
Absolutely.
But in the meantime, we've got these professional drivers out here, and none of the college kids going around right now. Little bit of sliders being traded back and forth there between Hayes and Segala, although we follow John Wilson right now. 5 seconds left to go. 3, 2, and 1. There it is, ticking over, and the checkered flag will fly for practice session, and that means we are ready to get qualifying. There, the rest of the field ticks on over. It will be a solo qualifying set right now, so everybody going to be doing their own thing. You don't have to worry about any lapped traffic around you. This is just you versus the track. And John, that is a huge relief when you're trying to qualify and set your fastest lap down.
Yeah, it really is. You can move about. You don't have to worry. You can, take that wide angle into the corner to, keep your speed up. You don't have to worry about somebody who's trying to stick their nose down in there. So, yeah, being on the track by yourself, is very nice.
Yes, it is. We ride on board with Jeffrey Harden here, I believe, as he works his way around, or that may actually be John Wilson, excuse me. Harden right now setting the purple time through Sector 1. We'll have to see. These times are going to come at you fast and furious. It's going to be John Wilson leading the way with 15.148. Harden going to be able to slot in behind him just about 0.02 of a second off the pace. Everybody trying to get their go as here we watch William Hargraves starting his flying lap right now. Chris Hill also on track with Joe Segala, Bobby Hayes. Everybody trying to get everything right. We watch here Hargraves working on that low line, watching out for those sleeping turtles down to the inside, those little tractor tires. Is Hargraves going to be able to improve? Yes, he is up to the top of the charts by the tune of about 23 thousandths of a second.
And he shuts it down. He's going to employ that strategy that you talk about, go in and sit for a minute, see if it holds, and maybe refire and take another shot at getting the one more in.
Well, and here's another one who tends to do that strategy every now and again. Billy Northcutt out on track right now. The 00 not able to set a time yet, but he's going to be working to come across the line right here, working on the low line. What is Billy going to be able to put down onto the boards? That's going to be good enough for third place, about 38 thousandths of a second off of your leader. Here comes J.R. Shepard, another driver that we've seen a renewed pace out of in the most recent couple of races. This could be a track that favors him. J.R. is going to jump up to 5th on the charts, so a good run there for him. Chris Hill, Bobby Hayes, Joe Segala still out on track right now, waiting for times from Hunter Hill, Brandon Proudfoot, and Steven Spies.
Yeah, and JR is taking that high line around, and you saw Hargrave a little while ago. He was primarily on the bottom, so two different lines, and yeah, Hargraves turns in a 15.12 to JR's 15.20, so not even a whole lot of room between the two differences in lines.
No, it looks pretty evenly matched there as you saw Brandon Proudfoot experimenting a little bit with a middle line, let's call it, and he's able to go up to second, fastest 22 thousandths of a second off of the leader. Is he going to be able to improve on that second lap? It doesn't look like it. Still waiting for times from Hunter Hill and Steven Spies as we watch Proudfoot here working his way around. There is Steven Spies, the 55 out on track. He has just been able to put down a time that is 9th best.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not going to be happy with that time and be looking to improve upon it. And he does, goes up to 15.29, but still needs to get a little more out of that car to get further up the pylon there.
Yes, he does. And just about 2 minutes left to go in qualifying right now. All drivers have set a time. The whole field separated by only about 0.3 of a second. Joe Segala looking a little bit off the pace. In fact, 1st to 10th right now is only separated by about 0.174 of a second, so very, very close running across the field. Spies not looking like he's able to gain a little bit more speed on this lap. He's not going to be moving up the charts. It was an improvement there for him, but he's not going to be able to bump his way past Hunter Hill. Here comes William Hargraves. He's already has pole position right now, so is he going to be able to do anything to try to improve his time?
I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if he'd go up top and we could see the differences in his lap times, but he's right back on the bottom.
Yeah, right back on the bottom and setting a purple lap through the first part of the sector. That is going to be a good time there for him, and that is going to be the fastest time overall with 15.108. So Hargraves clearly has some speed underneath that number 71 machine. Proudfoot behind him, Wilson and Northcutt rounding out your top 4. There is Billy out on the track right now. Yellow sector through the first part of the lap. That's not going to be an improvement there for him. Let's see if he can gain anything up on the second part of the lap. He's going to come across the line right now. A non-improvement there for him. He'll stay in 4th. Here we watch Hunter Hill in the number 12 working his way around. Hunter currently back in 9th place. We were talking about some of his good practice times, not exactly showing itself out there, and a little bit of contact with the wall. That's going to invalidate his lap, unfortunately, as they go around. Working around here, trying to see if he can get anything out to move his way up from that lowly 9th place position. He's going to need a bit of a miracle here, as it looks like he's tracking just a little bit slow. And that is going to be the end of qualifying, and that's going to get us ready for the first of our 2 heat races here. Lining up in pole position, it is going to be William Hargraves, followed by John Wilson, Jeffrey Harden, Chris Hill, Hunter Hill, and Joe Segala will round out your 6-car field. And there you can hear the engine starting to go a little bit. And so, John, here I've got to ask you, as you start off here, what's the line you're going to be looking for? Where are you going to be looking to dive to off of this start?
You're going to be looking, doing the same thing you did in qualifying, get to the bottom. That seemed to be where everybody was putting their quick times in. You know, the one thing you got hope for is maybe some guys will venture up, maybe a half a lane up to get that middle going. We didn't see a big time difference between a couple of guys that ran the top to the guys that ran the bottom, but it was enough on the bottom to definitely have the advantage. So, yeah, these first couple laps, just get to the bottom and run some qualifying laps.
All right, well, we'll have to see if that's exactly what they decide to do around here. It's going to be Hargreaves and Wilson lining up on that pole position. Hargreaves going to be opting to stick to the low line here, as is his priority. Leader does have lane choice around here. So, getting ready to get back under green flag racing. iRacing pace truck pulls off into the pits, waiting for Hargreaves to take that green flag, and he's on it. There they go. It's a good start there from Hargreaves. He's immediately going to dive down to that low side, just as you said, almost clipping one of those tractor tires. Little bit of a good momentum run up to the outside from Wilson. Chris Hill looking a little bit aggressive as well. He's going to dive down to the low side of the 75.
A good battle here for second as they go through 1 and 2. Hill on the low side. You got the 75 and Wilson on the outside. Looks like John's going to be able to get a little bit of that momentum going up off the corner and be able to clear him going through 3 and 4.
Yes, he is, and now it looks like Hill's going to fall back into the clutches here of Jeffrey Harden. A little bit of Harden wants to push ahead on it as we work lap 3 of 6 here on this first heat race. Trying to see what everybody will do. There's Wilson diving a little bit lower down, just trying to get the better angle off of the corner, but that's not exactly working out. Hargreaves looks like he has control of this race as we cross over the halfway point.
Yeah, they continue. Oh, off the wall is Hill going down the backstretch. The 36 now of Harden is going to try to take advantage of it low, going through 3 and 4 as he comes out down the straightaway. It still looks like Hill's going to have the advantage.
Yes, he is. Not a lot of swapping around, but certainly a lot of close racing. Harden trying to close down there a little bit on Chris Hill to the best of his ability, trying to push a little bit. I also see Segala trying out a good line there behind. Meanwhile, up front, William Hargreaves leads by about 3 car lengths. The white flag flies in the air for this first heat race. There is Segala trying to press a little bit on Jeffrey Harden as they come through 3 and 4 for the final time. It's going to be William Hargreaves taking victory here. John Wilson, the other automatic advancement into the A main. And there you go, and that gets us ready for the second heat race here. That's right, folks, they fly at you that fast. As there are your race results: Hargreaves, Wilson, Hill, Harden, Segala, and Hill. Once again, Hargreaves and Wilson, the two that will automatically advance on into that A main. But let's get you ready for the second heat race here. And this one is going to be led off by Brandon Proudfoot. He will be lining up in pole position, followed by Billy Northcutt with J.R. Shepard, Bobby Hayes, and Steven Spies behind them. And John, I know you and I are a little bit biased here, as Steven Spies is an oft-times in-race reporter with us, but got to think it's a little bit surprising to see Steven starting this far down in the order.
Yeah, it really is, but I don't expect him to stay there for too long. And, you know, the good news for Steven is I watched that through that first heat race, and look at this. It looks like Proudfoot's opting to take the outside. I was just about to say that groove. You're no longer on that extreme bottom like you were in qualifying. That basic groove widened out by a whole lane in that heat race. So that means Steven, you know, he's already, you know, towards the back here. He's going to have room to move here.
Yes, he will. It'll be interesting to see just how much he's able to move himself forward as they go around. Again, a pretty small heat race here. The top two automatically advancing on, as we've said. Waiting now for that iRacing pace truck to scamper off into the distance as we watch the field coming around. Proudfoot starting on that high line, and he gets on the loud pedal. It's a great start for him. He's going to pull along Bobby Hayes with him on the high side. Hayes is going to try to take that position away from Billy Northcutt. Northcutt's going to hold on down to the low line as they come out of the corner right there. Working their way around J.R. Shepard under a little bit of an attack from Steven Spies from behind, but it looks like Brandon Proudfoot has this on lock for now.
Yeah, it does, and Northcutt gets a little bit of a run coming out of the corner here, and you know, right now Northcutt is probably trying to size up Proudfoot, seeing where he's a little bit better, seeing where he can get a run. So if he can get in close to him, he can strike at that opportune time.
Yeah, and it's all about finding that opportune time for sure. That is definitely what you want to be doing, definitely what you want to be finding as they go around. J.R. Shepherd there on the inside trying to hold off Steven Spies, but Spies looks like he's got a little bit of momentum as they work around. Halfway done here in this race. It's a fierce battle for P3.
Yeah, and you see JR. JR is running the line where the guys were, just a touch higher right there than what they were in qualifying. And Spies is up a little further. That shows you that the track is widening out now, and you'll be able to get that momentum. The further up the track you go, the higher your RPMs stay, locked in the car, so you can really start to build momentum as the laps click off.
Yeah, exactly, and that is what it's all about. As the white flag flies here for heat race number 2, and it looks like a pretty controlled drive here from Brandon Proudfoot. No real challenge from behind from Billy Northcutt as they come off the line, and Barney waves the checkered flag to give Brandon Proudfoot the heat race victory, keeping him tied on points there relatively with his championship rival William Hargraves, and that is going to set us up here into the B main. As there you go, your final finishing order: Proudfoot, Northcutt, Hayes, Spies, and Shepherd. And so what that will do is that will now set us up into a 7-car B main event. This will determine the finishing order for the rest of the field, the starting order for the rest of the field. Lining up in pole position, it will be Chris Hayes, followed by Bobby Hayes, Jeffrey Harden, Steven Spies, Joe Segala, J.R. Shepherd, and Hunter Hill rounding out the rest of this field.
Yeah, what will be interesting to see is as this track continues to widen out, we haven't seen anybody go up top right along the wall here. And I would expect for the first time tonight, you might see a couple of guys go up there and just maybe test the waters. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that here in this race.
Yes, we will indeed. Who's going to get flirty with that cushion? Who's really going to start to push it up the track a little bit? We watch here Chris Hill, your pole sitter. Remember, he does have lane choice. We saw Brandon Proudfoot go up to that high line onto the previous lap. And it looks like here that Hill is going to stay down low. John, do you like that decision, or do you like Proudfoot's to start high?
I like Proudfoot's to start high. I think that's the one I would go. But, it's all about when you fire here. If you can get a good, clean start, minimize the tire spin as you launch, the bottom is going to be he'll be just fine on the bottom. I would take the top just for that momentum coming out of turn 2.
All right, well, we'll have to see what breaks down here as they come out of 3 and 4, waiting for Chris Hill to get on the loud pedal, and there he goes. Ooh, bit of a sideways start there in the back for Bobby Hayes, and that's immediately going to see Jeffrey Harden move his way up forward with a little bit of argy-bargy as they went down into turn 1.
Yeah, that was a good case of spinning your tires there, and that really stacked them up off the start here. But they've recovered with Harden in second, and Steven Spies is all the way up into third now.
Yes, he is, and Spies looking to threaten a little bit on Jeffrey Harden, letting that car run off the corner there a little bit, trying to close down a little bit more sideways motion going down into the corner for Jeffrey Harden. It doesn't look like that slows him up all that much, but Spies is able to close in a little bit more behind. We focus here on Bobby Hayes and J.R. Shepherd in the middle of the pack as they go around, as there's the battle we were talking about. Steven Spies starting to look threatening on the back of Jeffrey Harden.
Yeah, he sure is. Just kind of sizing them up in there. They're doing 2 different lines. Harden is sticking to that lower one. Spies is in the middle here. It's going to be interesting to see which one kind of prevails here.
Yes, it is. I can tell you that up front, Chris Hill running a higher line around here as he takes the halfway point. 5 laps working in this race. It looks like Hill has got it pretty much locked down. That main battle is going to be with Harden and Spies, as Steven Spies sets the fastest lap of the race last time out, trying to take a little bit of a dive down to the inside.
Yeah, Harden shut the door there. Now Spies is going to go back towards the higher line there coming through the corner, and he's got a great run going into 3.
Yes, he does. He's going to try to carry that momentum up onto the high side. Is that going to play out for him here? Let's wait and see. Oh, a little bit of contact, and that almost spins Harden around. Spies, I think, knew it, lifted off a little bit, but now they're going to be side by side diving into 3.
Yeah, that top side now is starting to work really well. The runs that they're getting off the corner right there, Spies just really gets a great run, able to beat him to the corner, but we only got 1 more lap to go.
Time flies when you're having good racing, and it looks like Steven Spies has got the advantage over Jeffrey Harden. It's just a matter of if he can hold it out or not here. It is going to be Chris Hill that wins it, and it's going to be Steven Spies that is able to take it just by a nip at the line over Jeffrey Harden. And there you can see your final finishing order. Chris Hill, Steven Spies, Jeffrey Harden, Bobby Hayes, J.R. Shepard, Hunter Hill, and Joe Segala rounding out your 7-car B main. And now it is time for that warm-up period that we talked about. 5 minutes of warm-up out here. Everybody just trying to figure out the track a little bit, especially from the winners from the first and second heat who haven't been out on track here in a hot minute. This is their chance to really go out and feel what the track is doing, and that's such a crucial part of dirt racing.
Absolutely, and Brandon Proudfoot gets out on the track and immediately goes up on that cushion. I saw 3 or 4 guys, just as I expected in the B, to go up here. They didn't really do it enough to wear it in, but that's what I think Proudfoot and these guys are doing right now, is pushing that up as high as they can go before the start of this feature.
Well, the higher they're able to get it to go, the more effective it's going to be, and that, I think, means for a little bit more of double-wide racing all the way around the track. And indeed, it doesn't just look like it's Hargraves or Proudfoot. It looks like pretty much the entire field trying to work on that high line, putting as much rubber down there as possible, pushing that cushion up the track a little bit.
Absolutely, and that's going to really provide some really good racing here, and allow guys to do slide jobs and other things like that. But the other thing it's really going to allow is, we saw that last in the B main there, the run that Spies was getting on hard and coming out of the corners. Now when you got, I mentioned it earlier about having those RPMs up. Well, the further up the track you go, the higher that you go, those RPMs go, and the runs that are going to be coming out of these corners from the guys on the top are just going to get faster and faster.
Yes, they are. It's going to be very difficult to... Ooh, I believe that was Steven Spies having a little bit of a bobble going down into pit lane unintentionally there. But yeah, the faster we can get up on that high lane, the better it's going to be. And, I mean, is there going to be a point here, John, where that low line just proves utterly ineffective, I have to ask? I
think early on, yes. But what will happen is that cushion will eventually get right on the wall. And you're going to have probably about 3, maybe 4 guys in here that can do that and hit that consistently without hitting the wall. Because you hit the wall, you scrape it, you lose speed. So what is going to happen, though, for them to be able to do that is they're going to have to start lifting at some point, letting the car roll around the center of the corner, even on the top. And when that happens, then you're going to see the transition, because guys are going to be able to send it in a little deeper on the bottom and be able to roll even a little better, because they're going to be able to maintain a higher throttle level on the bottom than the guys are on the top.
Well, that's going to be an interesting dynamic to see how it plays out here a little bit as we follow the number 13 Fistful of Water car of Bobby Hayes as he tries out on that high line. And the other thing we're going to have to be talking about, obviously, is bumping and banging up into that high outside barrier. There a very real possibility that it could happen.
Yeah, a very, very real possibility. Especially later in the race, it's trust me, it gets slick up there. And not only does it get slick, DJ, it gets rough. So as you're going through there, you believe it or not, in that car, you do start bouncing around, and you lose that contact patch with the tires and the track, and you get your hands get real busy towards the late periods of these races.
Well, we've often talked about with you just how bumpy it can get up on those high lines here, and I know Volusia, specifically through turns 3 and 4, is very, very bad. On a scale of 0 to Volusia, how bad are we talking about the bumpiness?
We're probably between the 0 and the Volusia bumpy. Not quite that, but that also might have something to do with Volusia. You're hauling the mail. It's a bigger track. You're going through there 15, 20 mile an hour faster than what you will here. And these cars they're tanks, so they don't bounce around as much as what maybe the sprint car or the late models and those more high power cars. But nonetheless, they do upset the car just enough that you've got to be on your toes or you're going to be in the wall.
Yes, indeed. You've got to be very, very careful about that to be able to keep everything going the right way. And only about 30 seconds left to go in this practice session right now. So certainly trying to keep everything together here are these drivers. I can tell you a couple drivers are calling it quits in this practice session. Looks like Hargraves, Harden, Segala, Spies looks like he's going to come back out here for the final 20 seconds here, but plenty of drivers just trying to work their way around a little bit, trying to see what they can do and find anything that they're going to be able to get going on.
Yeah, and I'll part with a secret here. The key to getting around on those bumps is a lot of guys will keep their foot in it. Well, when you're bouncing in the air, the wheels will spin when they're not touching the track. You've got to let off the gas and kind of roll through those bumps a little bit. And trust me, you'll go a lot faster.
Well, let's see if anybody takes your advice here, because that is the checkered flag for the warm-up session, and that means we are ready to go racing in this 11-car feature event. It's going to be William Hargraves lining up in pole position with Brandon Proudfoot to his outside. Those are your two title protagonists. John Wilson and Billy Northcutt will be behind them, with Chris Hill and Steven Spies lining up in row 3, Jeffrey Harden and Bobby Hayes in row 4, with J.R. Shepard 9th, Hunter Hill 10th, and Joe Segala lining up in 11th. It's a little bit of a smaller field, but I do not think that is going to mean we are lacking for any bit of excitement out here today.
Nope, and we got two guys, and that season clock is ticking. We got two guys on this front row that are going to be going for it here, and a lot of other guys got a lot of pride on the line here, so I do not expect any lack of action here tonight.
No, I think this is going to be fast and fierce. 40 minutes, 40 laps of racing as we get going. There they go. Let's see which line William Hargraves opts to take, and it looks like he's going to be up on the high line, following Proudfoot and your advice there, John.
Yeah, that's where I would be. The thing is, Proudfoot, Hargraves is going to dictate the start, so he's going to be able to get an advantage right off the bat, but Proudfoot might get a little bit of advantage going into turn 1, but you watch that outside line coming out of turn 2. You're going to see that really prevail here on the start.
Yeah, I think you will, as now they cross over the line. 1 to go to green here. 40 laps, as we said. Caution laps do not count, so if we get those yellows, you are guaranteed for a full 40 laps of green flag action here at Volusia. Waiting for the pace car to pull in. There it goes, keeping our eyes on William Hargraves, and there goes the flag. We are racing in Limaland, as that is a brilliant start for William Hargraves. He is really able to pull ahead. That's actually Billy Northcutt that's going to be able to get himself ahead of Brandon Proudfoot. Proudfoot trying to slide up onto the high line. A little bit of contact there between himself and Steven Spies, I believe. The 3-wide action there in the back between Spies, Wilson, and I think that's Chris Hill down on the low side.
Absolutely, it is there. And Spies cut Proudfoot a break there, let him in line here. Now Proudfoot lost an extra spot. Now instead of second, he's back to third. So he's got his work cut out for him to get back up to Hargraves up there.
Yes, indeed he does, but Spies looking particularly threatening as well. It looks like Chris Hill's going to slot back into line, that high line being preferred by everybody with the exception of John Wilson, who continues to work on the low line. Meanwhile, up front, it is about a car length and a half, maybe 2 car lengths gap between William Hargraves and Billy Northcutt as they work their way through the corner. Steven Spies trying to close in on the back of Brandon Proudfoot, but looking like they're separating themselves out a little bit.
Yeah, and I was in Proudfoot's very situation last night, actually. A little contact back in the pack, but I was running for a points championship. That guy that I was chasing got out front. I was stuck behind somebody in third, and watching that leader get away, you start to get that sense of urgency. It almost instantly starts creeping in, and you start to push. So it'll be interesting to see how hard Proudfoot pushes here early on.
Well, it will be interesting to see, as Proudfoot is normally one of the most calm, cool, and collected drivers there is in the series, so I don't see him taking a lot of low percentage moves here, but I've got to think if Billy Northcutt makes any sort of mistake that he is going to pounce all over him, trying to see what he can do here. This is your closest battle out on track right now. Whoa, and there's an around for Billy Northcutt, and that's going to bring Proudfoot with him.
Oh, that's disaster for Proudfoot. Losing one spot after another coming out of turn 4 there.
Ooh, and a little bit of contact there with Harden as well. That's going to demote Proudfoot all the way back into 8th place position. He is really going to have it all to do here to try to get his way past this gaggle of cars. That's Northcutt. I believe that's Bobby Hayes, Jeffrey Harden, Chris Hare, Hunter Hill. Everybody running around Hargraves just trying to find a line to slot into.
Yeah, that top is, you watch these guys, they're just getting freight trained by the guys on the top. And, the lap before that, between those, the incident between those two guys, I saw Proudfoot give Northcutt a little bit of a shove in the corner. So like I was saying, that sense of urgency was definitely up and maybe that led to a little bit of that contact there that got them both in trouble.
Yeah, it may have. Now it looks like Proudfoot's going to slide his way back up onto the high line here to try to keep a little bit more momentum going, maybe try to pigeon down Billy Northcutt as they go 12, 13 laps in the books here at Limaland as they continue to run. Proudfoot continues to be back in 10th place. This is disaster for his championship hopes.
Yeah, it absolutely is. He really needs a caution right now. Not so much because he's right on the back of these guys, but just to have that reset, to be able to take that deep breath, collect yourself, and then go back to work. And he's making a little bit of ground here. He's getting up next to Harden here, but Hargraves is way gone at this point.
Yes, he is, but Proudfoot carries some good momentum. Looks like he's going to be able to get himself around Jeffrey Harden there, I think. Yes, he is, so that'll be able to bump himself up into 8th place again. Now he's just got to work on his old rival of J.R. Shepard, the master of the asphalt side, who has shown some fantastic speed here in the dirt series as well.
Yeah, and right now, though, I'm watching everybody on the track, literally the whole field, with the exception of Jeff Harden, is on the top. And you know, you've got to pass them where they're not. And at some point, these guys, and now Proudfoot goes down low to try to go to the inside of Shepard coming out of 2. But you've got to figure out a way around these guys. If you just sit there in line, that's where you're going to finish.
Exactly, and Proudfoot again going down to the inside there of J.R. Shepard, just trying to see if he can get a little bit of an advantage as they go around. It looks like off in the corner there that J.R. Shepard got a little bit cockeyed, and that's going to allow for Brandon Proudfoot to at least have a nose ahead as they dive into 3 and 4. Is he able to get the blast off the corner that he would prefer? It looks like momentum's going to shift back a little bit to J.R. Shepard, but they are still side by side as they work their way around out of 2.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, that top side is almost into that transition where these guys are having to lift enough to where that bottom might become viable here. So I'm watching guys kind of bounce off the wall a lot more than what they were. We're halfway through, so watch for those bottom lanes maybe in the next 5 or 6 laps to come in.
Well, we'll have to see, and if anybody's able to read a track like that, it's going to be Brandon Proudfoot. A little bit of contact there with J.R. Shepard and Hunter Hill up ahead of him. I thought that may have opened up an opportunity. I'm also seeing Bobby Hayes trying down on the low side. Looks like he got a little bit freight train there as we go through the corner right now. That's Hunter Hill on your screen trying to hold off J.R. Shepard from behind. Brandon Proudfoot continuing to linger in the background of the frame. That's a very aggressive line there from Bobby Hayes trying to throw the slide job on John Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson up top here, and he's doing a real good job. He's holding it right on line. He's not getting into the wall that much, but Hayes is not letting that bottom go.
No, he certainly is not. He continues to fight, and he had an opportunity to slot into line there in front of Hunter Hill, but opted not to go for it. Proudfoot now also trying down on that low side, trying to see what he can do. Nothing to do there. He's going to keep up behind J.R. Shepard, just running line astern. Does he have the momentum here off of the corner to dive down? It doesn't quite look that way. He's going to be looking. Nothing happening there quite yet. They're going to keep on going through the corner. Oh, a little bit of contact, a little bit of argy-bargy there between Proudfoot and Shepard.
Yeah, Proudfoot knows he's got to get through these cars. I think right now, without a caution, Proudfoot's just wanting to get as many points as he can. He just sends it on the bottom here.
Yeah, it was a big send there from him. It didn't exactly work out, I think, as well as Brandon would have liked it to. Wasn't really able to get too much of a crossover, and you can see all that dirt getting kicked up. Obviously, a couple seasons ago, iRacing updating the dirt models here, upping that debris that flies up into the air, making it a little bit more realistic as you run around. But this for Proudfoot has got to be frustrating, just trying to find that way by and not being able to get anything done.
Yeah, I think he threw it in way too hard that last time, and it just scrubbed a lot of speed. Brandon's a smart driver here. I won't be a bit surprised if he doesn't try it again, with, but use a different style. Oh, he's to the outside of Shepard here.
Oh, that was poetry in motion. J.R. Shepard getting a little bit cockeyed. Brandon Proudfoot recognizing an inch of a gap and just chucking it in there. I love that from the 22.
Yeah, he's got a couple more to go here, and then, you know, he's going to get where the cars are a little more strung out. So that little group he's in, he's got 3 to go here before he's out in the open.
Well, he's got 3 to go, and he's only got 10 laps to do it here as we start working on lap 30. He has got to try to push ahead. Hunter Hill has about a car length advantage, though, as Proudfoot's able to catch up a little bit more. Again, an aggressive move to the outside there for Brandon Proudfoot. He is just slotting that car where he wants it to go.
Yeah, he sure is. And boy, I cannot believe that bottom has not come in a little bit better than what it is. And it looks like it's just going to stay a top dominant track. So you've got to do little tricks to try to get them out of your way here without wrecking them.
Indeed you do, and we're going to have to see if Brandon Proudfoot has any of those tricks up his sleeve with 9 laps to go around this circuit. Call it 8 laps to go now. Proudfoot still resolutely going high. I think that was Billy Northcutt getting into the wall into the back. It looks like Hunter Hill able to make that lower line work a little bit until Brandon Proudfoot absolutely sails on by to take 6th place.
Yeah, it looks like JR is going to go around Hayes too there on the bottom. Hill on the bottom.
Yes, he is. And so the next competitor here for Brandon Proudfoot to try to clear on by is going to be Bobby Hayes. Is he going to throw a massive slider here? What is he going to think about doing? I think he's a little bit scuppered there by the fact that Hill is still down to the inside, not really able to get anything done. Hill, a little bit of a cork there in any move that Proudfoot would like to be throwing.
Yeah, and even if Proudfoot tries to throw a slider here, I don't know where he has to go with it. He's got 2 cars, but Hayes goes back to the bottom. That's going to open that top for Proudfoot.
Ooh, and a little bit of contact there, I think, between himself and Wilson. That's going to put them back a little bit. Looking like he got bogged down a little bit, did Bobby Hayes, coming out of turn 2 as we come to the line here with 3 laps to go. That is Hayes and Hill both working on the low line. A little bit of a bump draft there from Brandon Proudfoot, trying to push John Wilson along to the best of his abilities, trying to fight his way forward right now.
He is laying the bumper and kind of pushing him down the front stretch, and that's what he's got to be doing here. But Hayes is really starting. That bottom is now starting to work a little bit.
Yeah, it's certainly starting to come in there, and you can see Bobby Hayes pulling away a little bit more as they go. Really playing it out here as we come to the white flag lap, ready to get it, and the white flag is indeed in the air from Barney the Flagman. A little bit of contact there up ahead, but up front it continues to be William Hargraves, just absolutely dominant, lapping the field, and he will take the checkered flag here without question. A great run from William Hargraves. Steven Spees able to come up into P2 with Chris Hill in P3. Your other championship contender, Brandon Proudfoot, only good enough for 6th place.
Wow, a lot of action packed in that group right there through this race.
An absolutely incredible battle all the way around, and Hargraves just absolutely dominant out there today. Almost nobody able to touch him whatsoever. Let's run you through those final finishing order. It was Hargraves, Spees, and Chris Hill. Bobby Hayes in 4th. Brandon Proudfoot able to recover up into 5th. Hunter Hill and Billy Northcutt in 6th and 7th, with J.R. Shepard, Jeffrey Harden, Joe Segala, and John Wilson. Those last 3, unfortunately, a lap down on the day.
Yeah, that group there was, boy, they were battling hard there from what was that, about 4th on back to about 8th. That's incredible racing.
Absolutely incredible racing. Exactly the kind of thing you come to expect when you have a dirt track race like this. And I want to give massive kudos to the entire field here. A green-to-green run. That's exactly what you love to see at a place like Limaland.
Absolutely, and it's rewarding too as a driver when you have those kind of races where it's flag to flag. It's a group effort to get there, and it's kind of exciting. It's a cool deal and a cool deal to be a part of.
It is indeed, and I think we've got our first interview ready. And John, I'm going to turn this one over to you. Actually, I'm going to take this one because we have our winner here today, William Hargraves. William, dominant is really the only word that I can put on this. You looked in control from the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, it worked out in my favor tonight for sure. I'm not really sure what happened there early on with Brandon and Billy, but it kind of allowed me to get away and just do my own thing. I guess I was pretty fortunate because I was struggling bad through 3 and 4.
Well, what was the struggle that you were dealing with? I mean, clearly it didn't show on the timings, but what was the kind of car trouble you were having?
I could get into the corner, but every time I'd hit the center of the corner, there's a hole there, and the car just gets so stupid tight, and it just want to push right to the wall. So I'd really have to brake hard to be able to keep it off the wall, and it just was costing me time. But maybe it didn't show, but I sure felt it. I know that.
Well, you hit it well, I have to say, and I have to ask you, thinking about today, thinking about next week at Knoxville, is the championship entering into your mind, or are you doing this race by race? Because by my calculations, you now are in the lead of the championship going into the final round.
Honestly, I'm here to race every week with these guys and have fun. If I come home second, if I come home first, either way, it's not going to matter. I might have a little bragging rights over Brandon then maybe for one season or something since he's won so many, but rile him up a little bit and give him more motivation to come back next season and bring it again. But no, either way, I don't care how it turns out. I'm just glad to be here and that these guys let me race week in, week out with them, and I just like it.
Well, we love having you here, William, and I have to ask you, is there anybody you would like to thank for yet another win on the season?
Yeah, I got to thank Luell for putting this on for us, as always. He really keeps it good and good group of people and a lot of fun for us. I got to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. I got to thank all my Dirt Panda Racing teammates. I got to thank Melm Electric Motor Sales. I got to thank Viv's Retail Liquor, Wild Bill's Race Designs, and all the fans and everybody that watches.
Well, thank you, William, and congratulations on a win and the preemptive championship lead.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, that was William Hargraves, your winner here today. And now, John, I believe you've caught up with our second place finisher, Steven Spees.
Hey, Steven, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Certainly do.
Well, you know what? You were back there just a little bit, and the seas kind of parted for you, and you took advantage of it, bringing home second. Tell me what more you needed to maybe run down Hargraves there.
Probably practice. That's the biggest thing. You know, we don't drive these very often, so it takes me about halfway through the race to really figure out what kind of lines I want to run. And this cushion was tricky here tonight. If you got up on there and didn't hit it just right going through four, it just kind of sucked you straight into the wall. So I was really struggling with that a lot. So there was really probably no chance for me to close that gap. But I hate that I got second that way, but don't complain and just take it when you can get it, I guess.
It's funny you say over there in 3 and 4 because Hargraves just got done telling us that he was struggling through there too, and I'm kind of thinking that's probably the same thing. So, every time we get close to a build, tracks seem to always do these little quirky things. I kind of feel like they put stuff in there before, because they can add stuff in there without anybody knowing, without having to take the service offline, all that kind of good stuff. But that's my tin foil hat theory there. But Steven, I tell you, as the race wore on though, did you ever give thought to maybe trying? You stayed on the top the whole time. Was that bottom just not there at all? Could you see any hope in even trying it?
No, I was just kind of monitoring lap times, and it felt like it stayed pretty consistent lap time wise the whole race. And going down lower, I knew times were going to be slower than where we were running up there. So, and there was enough of a gap in front and behind. There was just really no reason to try anything different. Just kind of riding along for 30 or 40 laps there, and trying to be not over aggressive. Trying to still stay quick, but not putting my car at risk. I really didn't think I could run William down, and I just kind of monitored that gap behind me and just made sure I maybe bounced off the wall but didn't hit it hard enough to break anything.
Well, good run here tonight. And the last question I have here, are you going to come back and run the USAC race later?
I'm hoping to. I got to go buy that car still, so I may take a look.
Why don't you go buy the car, and after we're done here on the broadcast, you meet me over in Gambler. We'll take some laps because I know you haven't practiced it now. So, but hey, real quick, who would you like to give a shout out to?
I will say shout out to Gambler Motorsports. Come check us out mainly on Facebook. Follow our escapades and whatnot. Cool Ray, anybody in the Atlanta area, if you need some service on heating or cooling, please call Cool Ray. They do a lot for us here in the iRacing community and the overall racing and sports community. And anybody that follows along and watches here at BRL or any of the other leagues that all of us run, we appreciate you taking the time and doing that.
Oh, thank you very much, Steven. That is Steven Spees, our second place finisher tonight. DJ?
All right, and that is going to bring us up to a conversation with our third place finisher, Chris Hill, up 2 positions on the day. Chris, being able to walk away with the podium here has got to feel good.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time coming, I think.
Well, talk me through the race a little bit. We heard both William and Steven talking about how things were getting a little bit sketchy coming through turns 3 and 4. Were you having any of that?
Oh, yeah, there towards the end, it got pretty tough to come out of 4 mainly. 3 was okay, but coming out of 4, hitting that front stretch wall kind of likes to suck you in there.
Well, you obviously managed to avoid it pretty well and run a very, very good race. As we look to Knoxville next week, can we maybe see a repeat from you there? Is that a track you like, or is that one that's not exactly your favorite on the calendar?
I actually do like Knoxville. I've spent a lot of time there. The whole house speed team, we worked on stuff quite often there, so it should be pretty good there, I think. I don't know about catching William. He's on another level, so...
Well, we'll have to see, and we wish you all the best luck in the world there, Chris. But is there anybody you'd like to thank for this podium here tonight?
Just the guys at House Speed and Cocky Floyd Consulting, just for always helping me get better. We practice pretty much nightly just to try to get better, faster. And it's starting to work, I think, hopefully.
Well, I'd certainly say a podium is a well-deserved effort in that, so congratulations yet again, Chris.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
All right, that was Chris Hill, your third place finisher here today. And folks, that's about going to wrap things up for us here. But on behalf of John Hine, Mike Yao, and the rest of VGN, we'd like to thank you for joining us here today at the virtual Limaland Speedway. The next race for this series, you heard me preview it. It's going to be next Friday from Knoxville Raceway. That'll be June 10th at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. The next broadcast on VGN, well, that's going to be tonight, a special event, the World 600 from Charlotte Motor Speedway, kicking off at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be back for that race at Knoxville. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network, and until we see you on the track, thanks for watching.